What's going on, everybody? In this video, we're going to be doing our very first product review. It's going to be an unboxing, a little bit of an assembly process, and then also the final review of the WEN 6-inch spiral cut tabletop joiner. In the description below, I put some timestamps, so feel free to jump to the parts that are more important to you. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. So here we are jumping into the unboxing of the WEN 6-inch jointer. Let's go ahead and take a look. With your instructions right on top. Some tools there. All right, looks like everything is already put together, hopefully. Nice bag, everything's bagged up. Just gonna pull this out. All right, cool, so we get our two pads, or two, I don't even know what you call these, but these things that you push across the planer. So that's nice. I like that. Wasn't expecting that. Looks like a dust chute. Not too sure what these pieces are. So let's put these aside. So we got this here. Just want to show you some shots here of what it looks like. It looks nice, it's solid. It's got a nice click to it. Now this is the top of the jointer. This is nice and smooth. There's no grinding or catching or anything like that, so that's nice. And it feels like aluminum. The power cable comes wrapped up. That's nice. Nothing really going on back here. Just some specifications there. And the fence will probably be screwed here because these are loose. Pretty much plug and play at this point. The 4 holes there will line up to these 4 holes there. So I'm just resting this bracket on top of this piece here, and I'm going to screw it in. This Allen wrench. Okay, so for this here next piece, you're going to assemble the sliding bracket onto the fence. So once you attach the square nut to the back, you need to slide them into this slot. And so the key is to not over tighten these. You want to have enough of this square nut to be able to slide into this slot here. When you need to tighten your sliding bracket and trying to find the center, using this slot here on the fence, just lay your fence down flat, position it to where you think it's center, and go ahead and tighten down. So next we have to use this to attach the fence onto this bracket here. So these notches here allow for this to fit within these notches. So you're able to feel when they go in the notches. Did I say notches enough? Attaching the fence to the actual jointer took way too long, and it may be user error, but it's not a very good design. There's a lot of movement when you tighten the bolts. There's a lot of movement to the sides and forward and back, and it just gets you out of square. So that's where I took a lot of time. So for this first test, I want to joint this hardwood. I think it's maple, and so as you can see, I don't have a good seam there. So rotate it a little bit better, but you can tell it's just not good. So let's go ahead and test on these 2 pieces and see if we can get a good joint. I won't glue it up. I just want to, lay it flat and see if I can get a good seam. or something is wrong here in my setup. As you can see, both on my face and on my edge, I have this lip. So it starts out good, but then I have this lip that doesn't cut. So I'm attributing that to the fence. This is what my fence looks like after adjusting it, and this is the correct setup, and this is what worked out for me to get good flat faces and edges. Okay, so after some trial and error, I finally got the planer to work correctly. So you can see that these are very smooth now. But take a look at that.
All right, so now we're going to jump right into the pros and cons of the tabletop joiner. And we're going to start with the cons first because there were actually less cons than there were pros. Starting off with con number one, it is the fence. There's really nothing wrong with the fence except for the method of design on how to attach it to the actual jointer. I spent way too much time trying to figure out how to attach this fence. Every time I went to tighten the fence, it would move in a different direction. So I actually had to account for that movement when I would tighten it. So if it moved to the left, for example, I would then have to over adjust it to the right to then account for that movement to the left. And it wasn't just left and right, it was backwards and forwards, left and right, all at the same time. And that's what made that attaching the fence the most difficult part and my biggest con. Since this is my first joiner, it could definitely be user error on my part, but I did see some videos on YouTube and they describe the same issues with the fence. Just keep in mind that you may need to spend some extra time attaching this fence. Con number two is regarding the depth of cut scale, or what I like to call the zero knob. I have no issues with this type of gauge to use as a method of measuring your depth of cut. What I did not like is that the indicator at zero is not a true zero. I cannot tell you with certainty what zero may be for you, but for me, it was slightly past the zero marker or the zero line. I think if the gauge is supposed to tell you that you're at zero, when you're at zero, that it should work like that. And because it didn't, I think that's a mark against this particular design. So those were the only two cons that I have. Let's go ahead and jump right into the pros. Pro number one is that the jointer works as it should. And what I mean by that is that it works. When purchasing items that are not the best or the most expensive, sometimes I'm hesitant because I am weary that the product may not work. You know, when you buy an iPhone charger that is not made from Apple, you have issues with it either not charging correctly or not charging fast enough. Well, that's because you didn't spend the money on buying an Apple product. And that was my fear with this particular product, that I did not spend a lot of money to buy the top of the line, for example, like a Jet. But going back to the joiner, this product works as it should. It gave me square faces and edges every time I used it. Pro number two is that the joiner is ready to go right out of the box. Other than the installation of the fence and the dust chute, there is nothing else that you need to do. What I really appreciated were that the blades and the infeed and outfeed table were level at the factory. So I didn't have to pull out the level or some Allen wrenches to do any fine tuning and fine adjustment. It was ready to go. Pro number three is that this machine is built well. It is built solid. The joiner weighs 38.6 pounds, so it's not flimsy, it's not light, it's definitely a solid machine. The infeed and outfeed table are cast iron. The blades are HSS or high speed steel, which may not be the best. It's not carbide, but is definitely a good steel for this introductory piece of equipment. The fence and the guard, I believe, are aluminum. I could not confirm that, but they feel light and aluminum. But I'm just nitpicking at that point, to be honest with you. Some of the features that stood out to me or that I personally liked were the on and off switch. I definitely like the louder click of the on and off switch. It just gives me a good feeling knowing that I can hear a good click, I guess. I don't know that, but that to me was important, and I appreciated that, or I liked that feature of the machine. Kind of like a car door that doesn't shut well or doesn't shut with a good thunk. It's kind of a soft close and you don't know whether or not you closed it. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Another feature or point that stood out for me on this equipment is that it has no vibration. There is absolutely no vibration while using this. The base has 4 holes that allow you to bolt the joiner to a fixed location. Additionally, the feet of the joiner have rubber padding on the bottom, so once you place it on the table, there really is no movement. I didn't actually secure my joiner to a fixed location. I just set it on top of my workbench, and the pads and the weight of the infeed and outfeed table really secured it there, and there was absolutely no vibration. Lastly, the machine is actually very quiet, surprisingly quiet. I was expecting the joiner to be as loud as a planer. With my planer, I have to wear ear protection, and if I don't, my ears start hurting after a while. With this joiner, I did not wear any ear protection because of how quiet it actually was. Again, I am very surprised. Pro number 4 is the price of the equipment. Right now on Amazon, it's going for about $271. When you compare this price to a top-of-the-line competitor such as a Jet tabletop joiner, which is over $1,000, you can see why someone like myself, a side hustler woodworker, would gravitate more towards something like this. All right, guys, so those are my pros and cons of the piece of equipment. Overall, guys, I am very pleased with the WEN tabletop joiner. I'm now very happy to have it as an option for when I need it in my workshop. I hope that this review helps anyone that is on the fence about purchasing this product. I 100% recommend this product. If you're wanting to see some more specifications, or if you're just wanting to purchase one, make sure to take a look at the description below. There is an affiliate link below that definitely does help out our channel. Anyways, guys, we'll see you guys on the next video. I appreciate it.